Hi Paparazzi, it's your girl AQ here, and I'm ready to dive into what's new with your online store. So let's jump into it. First things first, what is your online store? Your online store is included with Paparazzi Premiere at no additional cost for you. And it's your way that your customers can shop with you in your inventory and your pieces at any time, day or night, without you being live. Now, the one thing that's important to understand with your online store is that this is in addition to your replicated websites with Paparazzi. So remember, paparazziaccessories.com is your replicated website. And that's jewelry that they're going to shop with Paparazzi directly, and Paparazzi fulfills that to your customer on your behalf. The difference is that with your Premiere online store, this is your inventory, things that you have available to your customers, and you probably have a lot more stuff available to them than what's available through your replicated website. So how do you get your online store set up? That's what we're going to talk about today. So first things first, there's a lot of settings that we need to go through. So here's just at a high level some of these settings that we are going to talk about in this training today. So let's dive in. The first thing is that you have to turn on your online store, and you're going to do that by following these settings. If you don't turn on your online store and you are sharing out your online store, know that your customers are going to see at the top that it says they're in preview mode. That means that they can see all those amazing pieces that you have, but they can't check out on your store. So make sure that if you want to be able to accept orders from your online store, that you do turn that on by following these settings. Now, one of the important things to know about your online store is that if you are using your online store with reply to buy, there's a lot that goes into whether or not pieces are visible with reply to buy, and definitely follow that training for more information on how those features and settings work together for reply to buy. But know that you do need to have your online store with reply to buy. Now, one of our newest features is the personalized cart timer, and you are going to set up what you want your cart timer to be when you get your app set up. The default for your cart timer is 7 days. So if you want a shorter window than that, then you do need to go into these settings to change that. So what is your personalized cart timer? The cart timer is what allows your customers to reserve items in their carts or in their baskets when they're shopping your online store. Think of it like Amazon lightning deals, right? You only have it for 15 minutes. If you don't check out, you don't get those pieces. Now, we're going to talk more about the online store and cart timers and all the things with out of stock and different things like that in just a little bit. So just know the cart timer is one of those important features to have set up. It's also important when you're talking about using your cart timer with reply to buy. If you are somebody that goes live for 2 hours and you're using reply to buy, you need to make sure you set the cart timer settings according to how long you're going live. Now, one of my recommendations is if you are going live, increase your cart timer so that your customers have that time that you're live and a little bit more time to check out. And then after you're done doing your live, you can go in and reset your cart timer to be a lower time so that when customers are just going and shopping with you, you can have that lower time so things aren't reserved as long. The next setting that you need to take a look at is your consultant cost reimbursement. You're going to turn on or off that setting here. And what this is going to do is determine whether or not you are going to recoup your costs on sales tax through your online orders. Now, it's important to note that if you turn this on, it is on for both your online store and invoicing that you do through your Premiere app. And vice versa is true as well. If you turn it off, it is turned off for your online store as well as invoicing. One of the other settings that you have that we will talk about how it works in your online store in just a moment is local pickup. If you offer local pickup for your customers, that's fantastic. And you can set that up by following these settings. You are going to provide a pickup address and pickup instructions. And then all of this is available to your customers when they are checking out. They'll see a pickup option and all of that information is available. And also they get this same information available to them when they place their order. It's sent in their order confirmation. Now, one of the newer features that we have is rewards, customer rewards. And it's important to note that if you're going to utilize customer rewards, I do go in a lot of detail about how that works, how you manage that in the invoicing and order fulfillment training. So join that training, watch that after this, and I'll break that down. Now, what's important to understand as it relates to your online store is that your online store counts those purchases as well towards rewards. The key difference here is that your customers cannot redeem their rewards online through your online store. Only you have the ability to manage your online or your rewards and what you're giving away. And the way that I look at this is that you wouldn't want to give away your newer pieces to customers. You want to reserve those for the host rewards. Like if you're doing an HR 10 pack, you get those. Or if you want to give away one of your vintage pieces to get some of those older pieces cleared out of your inventory. So that's an important thing to note as well when it comes to rewards. And the last thing that I want to note about rewards is that sometimes customers will give two different email addresses. And so rewards is based on the unique and distinct email address that your customers provide. And what do I mean by that? The example that I like to give is this, is that when I'm shopping with you on my lives and I know you're going to be invoicing me for the purchases that I make with you on your lives, I usually will give out my work email address because I always check that email account. I'm in there regularly, right? But when I'm shopping online, I have a completely different email address that I use for a lot of my online purchases because I don't want all the noise that comes with the sales emails, right? So I have a different email, almost like a junk email for those things. So if I'm shopping your online store, then I have to remember that if I want my rewards to count, I need to also make sure I check out using my work email address so that all my rewards count through that. Now, the key with this is that there isn't currently a way to connect both of those accounts. So if you want to allow them to do that and have both systems generating rewards, you do have to manually move those. And I show that in my invoicing training. So join that and watch that afterwards if you are going to allow that. Now, before we dive into your online store, I want to talk to you about some of those features that are very valuable with your online store that are, and I want you to understand not only what are valuable features and how you can drive sales to your online store, but what does certain things mean and how does it work in the online store? So let's break these down. In my inventory training, you heard me talk about visible pieces, and I talked to you about that when you do receiving, that those pieces are marked hidden or not visible when you do that receiving step. And you don't mark pieces visible until you've completed the whole system and process for selling. You do pre-claims, receive, you do your live, you do your recap, then you do your invoicing, and now everything that's left over is available for you to sell in your online store. So now those pieces are going to be marked visible and they're going to show up on your online store. One of the other features that we talked about in the inventory training was talking about the little star icon and marking pieces featured. Now, this is, I feel like, one of the best features that makes your whole online store and allows you to drive a lot of sales to your online store. And let me break this down for you in different ideas and tips for how you can leverage this. So first things first, we're talking about getting some of your vintage pieces in there. And how do you do that? So your customers don't know that vintage pieces aren't new. You should be advertising as a new opportunity to get new releases to your online store. And you can do it once a week. Start out small, once a week. On Mondays are my days that I release new pieces to my online store, and you can only get them there and check them out. They're going to be under featured pieces. So now I'm driving traffic to my online store that has those pieces that I'm bringing in as vintage pieces, but it's also got everything else that I've been loading over this time as well. So that's one mechanism for getting those vintage pieces to your online store and driving traffic as well. Now, one of my other tips for using your featured pieces is during your lives. One of my favorite tips here is that, I have a son, you have kids, and if you're not one of those people that goes live for 2 hours, you like to keep it in a time box. You can have a set of 5 pieces, 10 pieces, however you want to keep it small. And I have a reason for that in a moment. 5 or 10 pieces is a good number for featured pieces. And you can say, oh, guys, I've got to get my son to baseball and I didn't get to everything. So I'm going to put it on my online store and you can go check out those pieces there and anything else that you want to shop. So those are 2 great tips for driving sales to your online store. Now, when you're in your online store, one of the first things that I want you to understand is, how does your online store look? How does it filter and sort different things in the categories? So the categories, let's talk about that first because that one's a little bit easier. So categories and colors comes from your inventory. The categories are predefined for us: bracelets, necklace, earrings, those kinds of things. And then color is the next section, which you don't see here on this screenshot, but when I dive into your online store, you will see them there. So those come in automatically. You don't have to do anything to set those up and manage that. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is, how does your online store sort and display things? So the first thing that we look for in your online store are, what are the pieces that you have featured? And those are going to be the first items that are visible in your online store. Then after we know those 10 items, and I have a reason, I promise you, there is a method to my madness. After those first 10 pieces of your featured pieces, the next thing that we look for is, what is new to your store? Now, new to your store is a very important thing for you to understand how that works, because new doesn't mean new based on a release date. New means new to your store, just as I said it. It is when you add that piece to your inventory, it is new to your store and it becomes available to be purchased. If you make any changes, that also is impacting the newness, or changes to that bumps that up as well. So keep that in mind as you are working through managing your inventory. Now, before I dive in, I've got a few more things to share with you. So let's talk about sharing. Sharing is a feature that's in your online store. Every single piece next to that, you can click the share icon and you can share it out, and that's based on your device's native sharing function. So as you know, Apple, this is your icon. Android, you have the little alligator icon. Now, one of the most common questions that Paparazzi gets when we talk about the out of stock message is, why is an item showing out of stock? I know it's not out of stock. I have 2 here. What's going on? It's broken. So let's break this down and help you understand what's going on under the hood so that you know how to sell around this, okay? So let's say you have 2 of these beautiful earrings, okay? And you know you have 2, but somebody's calling you and they're saying to you that they're looking at it, but it says they're out of stock. And you know in your head, because you now know how this is working, that what you can do. So the way that the inventory works is that it does this system called a soft allocation. So that soft allocation says that two people have these, or maybe one person has two in quantity, but the two that you have of these earrings are in somebody's basket. They're in somebody's cart. Now, this is a combination where you need to also make sure you're setting up your personalized cart timer correctly, because if it's something like 7 days, this will be held in that customer's cart for 7 days. If it's a smaller time, it will drop out as a lesser time. Well, the way that you can work around the cart timer is that invoicing trumps all of that. So your customer is calling you saying, Andrea, I need those earrings for a wedding. They're going to be so amazing with the dress that I'm wearing. And what you're going to do is this. You're going to be like, let me go take a look at things. I need to call you back. Let me see, get in my store and see what I can find for you. Go and let them panic just a little bit, and you're going to call them back, right? So because you now know how this works, you're going to, after you let them panic for a little bit, call them back in about 5-10 minutes. And you're going to be like, Miranda, I got you, girl. Don't worry about it. I found a pair of those earrings for you. Now, I've got to get out the door, but what I can do is I can send you an invoice and get those out to you. And so she's like, oh, that's amazing. You're a lifesaver. You're going to make me look amazing. All those different things, right? So now you're going to send her an invoice and she's going to pay for that. That invoice is like your trump card to whoever's holding it in their cart, right? That's your way to kind of snatch it out of the cart and sell it. And in my mind, I'm always going to go for the sell I can make now versus the potential of, I don't know that those baskets are really going to close, or is the cart timer going to kick them out, that kind of thing. Go for the sale you can make right now by sending an invoice. So I hope that helps you understand how that out of stock feature works. Now, one of the other features that we talked about is the free shipping banner. In my invoicing sessions, I talk about how you set up free shipping and do all of that. So it's very important to be reminded that if you do free shipping in your Premiere app as the settings, that it is applied to both your online store and invoicing. So when you have that set up, you can see here at the top, it says you get free shipping on all orders 25 or more, which is great. So that's that reminder there. But the other thing that it does is that it tells your customers as they're shopping and adding items to their carts, how much more they need to add before they need to get free shipping. And we all know it. We all do it. It's girl math. Everybody does it. If I can add 2 more pieces to save myself on shipping, I'm going to do that, right? So that's another tip for you. Now, the last feature before we jump into the online store is the Join My Team link. Because we want you to be driving all of your traffic to your online store, we also want you to be leveraging this as an opportunity to do recruiting, right? You're on your lives and you're saying, if you see what I'm doing, you see how easy it is, and you'd love to join my team, you can do that here. And you have that link there. And it takes you to your Paparazzi Accessories application process for them to enroll. And it automatically assigns you as their sponsor, so they don't have to do any lookups at all. And it allows them to more easily connect and be part of your team. So let's go ahead and we are going to jump right into the app, because first thing I want you to know is, where do you find your online store? So let's take a look at that. So here I am in the app, and you can see I'm on the menu screen already, the hamburger button. So I'm going to go over here to settings, and I'm going to scroll down here, and this is my store here. And if I wanted to share it out or copy the link, I click on that share, and I'm able to do that over here. So that's how you find it. The other thing to note here is that you can see the green button is on. That means my online store is on. Now, I do want to show you your online store as the online store and show you some of these features. So let's go ahead and go to my online store. So here I am in my online store. Now remember, I had a great tip for why you want to show 10 pieces, and here's why. You see how many pieces here are loaded up? Your first 10 are going to be your featured pieces, then everything else that follows is going to be your remaining inventory. So if you wanted to click on what's just featured, you can see those items that I have featured. Now, the other thing I want to show you real quick here is I'm going to click on Scarf for Attention. You can see that. Here's that share button that we were talking about. And you can do all the share function there. I'm going to add my item to my cart, and you can see that there, and it shows you here just $20 left to get free shipping. And Girl Math always says, buy more to save money on shipping. Amazon has spoiled us, right? So you can see that that adds it there. Now, one of the tips that I want to share with you is about doing curated looks in sharing that out. So what I want to do is come back to my online store here and show you the search functionality. You can actually put in multiple Paparazzi SKUs in here, and it is going to allow you to search for those SKUs. I just need to real quick make sure. Let's make sure I'm going to switch over here to my app. And we are going to make sure these pieces that I want to show you this with are visible pieces. Okay, so we're going to make that piece visible. Save. Now let's do this next one. Make that visible. Save. All right. So what we have here, this curated look, is my necklace and my ring. And I'm going to show you in your online store a nice little hack for sending out a link with just these two pieces. So what I'm going to do in my search bar is I am going to type in the Paparazzi SKU for this. That is P4IN-SVXX-097XX. And I'm going to do space, no commas, nothing else, just space. And now the necklace, which is P2BA-SVXX-092YH. And then I click search. And there are those two pieces. Now, if I wanted to share this out, I'm just going to come up here to my address bar and I'm going to copy it. And now I can send that out however I want to do that. If I want to send it to somebody in WhatsApp, or I want to text it to them, or I'm going to take a selfie and I'm going to be like, guys, look how amazing these pieces are together. Snap a picture, and I'm going to post that picture with the link to this curated look. And now they have the ability to add those pieces. So that is your online store. And what I want to close out with is that we always value your feedback and appreciate that, and know that your feedback does mean a lot, but it also means a lot that your feedback based on usage. So definitely be using the app, get in there, drive those features, have your usage drive those features. The more you're using it, the more comfortable you're going to be with it, and you're going to know exactly the kinds of feedback that you want to provide to us. And the last thing I'd like to say is that we have a lot more new updates in our other sessions from convention, so definitely check out those videos as well. Thank you.